I bought my nephew a bicycle when he was 5, and it came in a big box, and it was gift wrapped with a ribbon on the top. And he spent like ages trying to tear the paper, and you know how small kids are now, trying to get the bike out of the box. What did he spend the rest of the day playing with? Why? Why the box? Because it could be anything he wanted it to be, right? The castle, the fort, the rocket ship, the kitchen. When was the last time you saw the rocket ship? Usually about the age of 6. Once you go to school and you get a job, I don't know what jobs you work in, but I guarantee you, somebody at some point between the age of 6 and now, on more than one occasion, has pointed at you and said, "You're not creative." And at some point in our lives, we're stupid enough to believe it. But we were all born children. We all saw the rocket ship. We all had an amazing imagination. We were all very curious. But this gets knocked out of us as we build up into corporate life. If you think about where artificial intelligence is going, and they say it'll take away 30 million jobs in the United States of America in the next 10 years. That's 10% of the population. How will you compete with somebody who thinks 5,000 times faster than you do? Creativity, imagination, intuition, and emotional intelligence, and curiosity. Robots will not replicate that in the next 5 or 10 years. Think about the decisions you make in your life. What dress you bought last week, what car you bought last year, which restaurant you decided to go to, where you chose to go on holiday. Was that a rational decision? No. Intuition. Your brain, believe it or not, is 13% conscious, 87% subconscious. 87% of your brain. But you only work with 13%, 95% of the day. All the rest of your material's back here ready for you, but you can't access it when you're stressed. Children laugh a lot. They're very playful. They have an amazing imagination. We don't laugh enough. And again, I don't need you to play every minute of every day, but when you're trying to develop big ideas, you might want to practice being playful. Of this subconscious, every meal you've ever eaten, every texture you've ever felt, every place you've ever visited, every person you've ever kissed, even the ones you'd like to forget that pop up on Facebook every now and then, but they're all back there to serve as they're all back there as unrelated stimulus that you can make and connect to different ideas. There are a simple of really easy tools to use, very easy. Think about how you might frame a challenge to begin with. So, for example, when Walt Disney opened the park in 1955, July 17th, instead of saying, "We're going to have customers in our park," he said, "No, we'll have no customers in our park. We'll only have guests." And that simple statement, that simple re-expression of the challenge created the single best level of guest service anywhere in the world. Never been replicated. People have tried. He also said, "We're not going to have employees. We'll have cast members. They'll be cast for a role in the show. They'll wear a costume, not a uniform." And so now, 80 years later, I have a friend, Hector Rodriguez. He's from Puerto Rico. He's a big guy. He's very jolly. Hector drives the boat across the lagoon 57 times a day. Mind-numbing. But when Hector comes to the house, as soon as he comes into the house, big smile, he goes, "Hey, you should see what I did for that guest today." And he'll tell you a story about what he did for his guest, just because Walt re-expressed the challenge to get people to think differently. In 1940, he created a film called Fantasia. Hands up, who's seen Fantasia? Okay. He wanted it to mist in the theater during drip, drip, drip Little April showers. He wanted heat pumped into the theater during Night on a Bare Mountain when all the flames, the bad guy was there. And the theater owner said, "No, well, that's too expensive. That's crazy. We would never do that. It's too expensive." So here's how this tool works. You list the rules of your challenge as quickly as you can. So he said, "It's dark, it's dirty, you have to go at a set time, I have to sit next to people I don't want to." Step 2, you ask, what if? You take one of those rules and choose to break it. He said, "Well, what if I took my movies out of the theater?" Well, in 1940, that was an absurd suggestion. Stupid. Well, okay. Well, imagine a world where I might. Well, they couldn't be two-dimensional anymore. Well, then I'd have to make my movies three-dimensional. Well, if I make my movies three-dimensional, I'd have to have people play Cinderella and Captain Jack Sparrow. Well, if I have people play them, well, the princesses couldn't live next to the pirates because people need to be immersed in the story of Cinderella. So I'd have to keep them in different lands. Oh, wait, I'll call it Disneyland. Creativity doesn't mean to say I can paint or write music. Everybody comes into the world of education with the most amazing imagination because they come in at the age of 5 or 6. There's rocket ships, there's unicorns, there's everything else. But at the age of 18, they've gone. And so it's a challenge to the world of education. Keep the unicorn. Keep the rocket ship.